tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Alright. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'm just getting everything properly set up here so that I know that I'm streaming properly. Oh, it's been a busy day on my end. I haven't looked at the charts at all really today, so this live stream is just me needing to go through the charts, seeing what's happening, looking if there is any news happening this week. I'm not sure if there is anything in particular that has happened during today. I was in class all day. So I am looking at the markets from a fresh perspective at the moment. So before we get into it, let me just urge everyone to make sure that if you are new to the stream, if you are new to this channel, firstly, thank you for coming through and maybe being a little bit curious in terms of what this is about. But I hope that you would maybe be able to learn something, and I'm also open to pointers as well. This channel is about my financial journey trading in the financial markets. I predominantly trade the commodities within the financial markets, and I quite enjoy it. I have been researching and looking at this trading thing for quite a while now, a couple of years, but only really actively getting into actually physically trading in the last couple of years. So I am at the moment busy with a funded challenge, and if you asking what is a funded challenge, well, stick around and I will share a little bit more in terms of exactly what a funding challenge entails, what it is all about. But yeah, this stream is purely for entertainment purposes. Please don't take any of my content as financial advice. Please read the description to see what the disclaimer says, and I hope that to some degree you guys get a little bit of entertainment and possibly education out of the stream. So it is a little bit weird speaking to myself because I know that there is currently no one on the stream specifically, but it would be great as soon as people do start joining. I am keen for the interaction with people as well, and I'm looking forward to the next few streams. Obviously the objective for me with the funded challenge is to become funded very soon, and ultimately from there trade on a more full-time basis in terms of supplementary income. So yeah, now with all the admin out of the way, let me get into the charts. Alright, so first thing I do whenever I get into the charts, you can see that I've still got old markups in my charts. I will generally clear those things out. I wanted to mention something before I go through the rest of these instruments over here. So on Friday, for the first stream that I was doing, I was in a live trade at the point where I closed it on stream, but also I was then actively looking at the US 30 instrument, and specifically looking at where the market was at the time that I was looking at it. think we were sitting at just prior to market open, so that was 2 o'clock. Well, sorry, not 2 o'clock, it was around about 4, just after 4 I was looking at it, and sort of in terms of my analysis, trying to make certain predictions in terms of where I thought, or not predictions, but according to my analysis, trying to estimate where the market was going to. And I said, given where the market was specifically for this currency pair, that you could potentially see the market come to this key level that I marked out in my chart over here, where this little white circle is, and then ultimately see that it would either react off this level over here and continue to the upside, or you could potentially see a break and retest of that key level and then a continuation further to the downside. And it is really great to see that what the market then actually ended up doing. Let me just get this tool. What the market ended up doing was coming down, hitting that level, continuing up, coming back down to that level. So you can see these little white drawings that I made here was what I was anticipating the market to do. Market broke through this key level over here, came back, retested it, went back down, came back, retested it, and then during the course of today then continued all the way down to this level over here. Now if I was looking at the amount of pips that could have been taken here, that is a total of 500 pips. Am I correct? 500 pips? 560 pips? So that is quite substantial, and great to see that the key levels that I marked out and was looking at specifically, that actually played out quite nicely. So that is a nice one. But let me get into the pairs that I'm looking at. So as you can see from my charts, you will know that I only trade certain pairs. I don't look at every single financial instrument. The pairs that I trade is GU, which is the pound against the dollar. I also trade GJ, which is the pound against the Japanese yen, or UN, I don't know how you pronounce it. And then I also look at Euro USD, basically one of the staple currencies. Whenever somebody is getting into trading, that's one of the currencies that they look at trading. Less volatile than an indice pair. And then in terms of indices, the one that I look at is US 30. There is obviously a lot of volume in that market, and given that there's this big change with the new president within the US, obviously there is going to be quite a bit of movement on the indices, specifically the Nasdaq and US 30 or the Dow Jones. So let me go through my process of basically how I look at things. So firstly, I want to establish my bias for this week, being Monday the 27th of Jan. Don't know why I'm making my voice, why I'm changing the consistency or the level of my voice here, but anyway, let's just look at this. Okay, so I've got a whole lot of stuff marked over here. I just want to clear this chart, and then let me mark out where I can potentially, or what I potentially see the market doing. So if I look at the last couple of days, what's been happening in the market, the last 2 days, if I well, not days, why am I saying days, it's weeks. So if I discount the start of this week, if I look at the previous week and the week prior to that, you can see that although the market was bullish, the overall trend for this pair was in a downward trajectory, which means that the euro was decreasing against the value of the dollar. So I like taking the more recent data to sort of establish what my direction for that particular week would be. So given that last week the market was extremely bullish with this candle that printed over here, And I don't know where that box went to now, but let me just make an anchored box here. My bias on the weekly, let me just check. It's still potentially bearish, however with that bullish candle, I'm still going to be fairly neutral on this pair for now. It's still very early in the week, it's the first day of the week, so I don't want to say that I'm biased towards a particular direction now, specifically given that in the last, if you exclude this week, in the last 2 weeks, that the market has been showing some bullish momentum. So I'm going to say I'm neutral on it for now, and then relook at what I think my bias is for tomorrow. Obviously you can then see that there are these key level areas that, if you look more recently to the left of these candles, that there is this key area over here that I will mark out. I just want to go a little further back to actually see how far this level goes back. And one thing you'll note about my trading as well is that I'm not always too concerned about getting exact levels marked out. I want to be in an approximate range just to know that the market could potentially get there. So as you can see, there's a possible resistance coming up here from a previous level that was hit there, where the market attempted to break through but ultimately failed and then continued lower from that point. So when the market does get to that point, will possibly put me in a better position to then have a set bias on where I think this pair is going. Going now to the daily, I am looking at some further confluence here in terms of direction for this particular pair. As you can clearly see, over the last couple of days, the market has been very bullish for this pair, so which means that the euro has been strengthening just slightly against the dollar. So the fact that this highs over here were taken, and there were no new lower lows set after this level was set here. These highs were taken as well, these highs were taken as well, and then we are sitting at this level over here at the moment. So I'm then going to say, in terms of my daily bias, I am more bullish than what I am bearish at the moment. And again, that might be more short term than anything. It might be that between Tuesday and Wednesday that my bias does change. So just know that although I am confirming that I have a certain bias on the daily, it doesn't mean that the following day will mean the same. The market could make a turn, or news could break and have an impact on the direction of the market as well. Okay, so I am pretty much, in terms of my bias and what I'm going to look for this week, I'm going to look for moves that could possibly move bullish on this pair and see if that can bring me any profitable trades this week. I'm just looking for further confluence in terms of any key levels that I can spot on the daily. If I hadn't had this level marked out on the weekly, I would have possibly put a daily level in there, but what I will do is just adjust that weekly level slightly. And then with this as well, I'll usually just mark that this is a weekly key level over there, so that when I look at the chart from a zoomed in view or from a lower time frame, that I understand what level that is that I marked out. So you'll as well, what you will see is that all my levels I generally mark out in orange. So I'll usually mark those levels out in orange, and then my Asian highs will be in red. From the daily, I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. As you can see from the 4 hour as well, we've been fairly bullish, and this is where I'm going to mark out particular key levels for me on this time frame. I usually use a horizontal ray. You'll sometimes find that people do use the horizontal line tool, and that basically just sends a horizontal line all the way across your charts as far back that it can go. With a ray tool, you can basically set it at the point that you want it, as far back or as far to the left of your chart as you need. When I'm looking at my 4 hour levels, I'm obviously looking at where current price is sitting. So if I marked out a level, I would probably look at where there was quite a bit of touches in the same area. So like this, you can see there was a lot of consolidation within this area, a lot of resistance there, and the market did sell off from that point. You can see we back at that level as well, so I'll mark that for me as a 4H key level for me. And currently it's obviously sitting as a resistance level over there. What I will look at, because I see that there has been quite a bit of consolidation in this area, I'll just mark out that area as well, because there is a possibility that you could have a breakout to the downside, and then if you marked out a lower level, you might not get the entry lower. So because there was quite a bit of support in this area, and in one case some resistance, I'll just mark out that area for me as a key level as well on the 4H time frame. And I am just checking from time to time in terms of any comments that might come in on the stream. Please feel free to ask any questions at any point in time. I'll check the comments every now and then just to make sure that I'm not missing anything, but at the moment it's just me, so I'm probably speaking to myself. Okay, so I've got another 4 hour key level over there. I'm happy with this weekly just being there. I don't feel that I need to mark out a 4 hour level within that same vicinity. I'll probably, if I do see a 15 minute somewhere close, I will then look to mark that out as well. The next time frame is obviously my 15 minute. As said in my previous stream on the other channel, you can go and check it out. The 15 minute time frame and the key levels that I mark out here, this is my entry time frame. I don't enter on the 5 minute, I don't enter on the 1 minute. Most of my trades are intraday, so my trades are generally held longer than, you know, a couple of minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I can generally hold a trade for half a day and sometimes even overnight as well. So I like taking my trades on the 15 minute. I find that I have a higher confluence on this time frame. It's just the way I prefer trading. You'll find out the different traders have different methods for the way they do things. So if I look at this, there is quite a bit for me to look at in terms of where the market is at the moment. But I'm looking for those levels where the market has come to and reacted off multiple times. And if I mark that out, you can see that on the 15 minute, that is obviously the market has reacted quite a bit off of that level over there. And there's a possibility that the market can come back down to that level as well. Looking further left in terms of the data, there's not much data at this level. You have to go quite far back to around about last year December to actually see when the market last traded there. So if I look at this little dotted line over here, this is currently where the market is sitting. It is sitting in this level where the market was consolidating. So it might mean that you might need to wait for the market to show a clear direction before you can actually take any trades on this pair as well. But it's good to know where we are. So I don't feel at the moment that there is any additional levels that I need to mark out on the 15 minutes. Specifically, the next thing I'm going to look at is my Asian range. So I usually mark my Asian range from your Asia high. I'll mark it from 1 a.m. in the morning, that is UTC time +2. So my Asia high sitting over there. I did say that I usually make my Asia high red and my Asia low. So anything between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning, that's where I mark my range. I just feel that that's the most accurate time in terms of where the market does react off of. So that is my Asia low. So now I've got a good idea of what the market has been doing. The high was set at actually at 1 a.m. Early hours of Monday morning, and the low was then set at 4:30 a.m. You'll notice from the market today, what the market actually did was that after 7 a.m. that the market had tested, let me just clear this off the chart. The market had tested the Asian low, consolidated there for a bit. For people who were going short after the market broke to the downside, they would have probably been trapped, but ultimately the market then tested that level 3 times before then going to the upside and sweeping the Asian high as well. And you can see it traded all the way to that key level on the top over there. So that does give me a good indication in terms of where we are sitting at the moment within the market. Sorry, I'm just checking that there seems to be an issue with bit rate here at the moment. Anyway, so nice reaction off that Asia low. Actually quite happy when I look at the 4-hour key level that I marked out and the Asian high that I marked out. Literally few pips within the same vicinity as well. What could have been a potential move for me if I was in the market a little bit earlier today during London, I could have potentially looked for buys in the scenario, given that I am quite bullish. How I would have looked at this trade was when I saw this testing of this level over here. Let me just mark that with this little paintbrush. When I saw the testing of this level here and this impulse move, I would have set a pending order over here to buy, and as soon as the market came down, it would have tapped me in. I would have probably set it with a 20 pip stop for this pair specifically. So I would have set my order over there, and this is obviously hypotheticals. Obviously in hindsight it's a lot easier to say this is what I would have done, but on other days I will be doing London session, so it will then in most cases be something that I will see and will do live on my channel, or live on this channel. What I will normally look for with this pair is a 1 to 2. Euro USD can be quite volatile, and you can catch quite a bit of pips on this pair, but I will always try and target double of what I'm risking. As you can see with this trade, you would have been tapped in with very minimal drawdown and then ran for a total of 73 pips. I would have probably closed in full at 40 pips, but there was a potential move. So I haven't traded Euro USD in quite a while, so it's nice to see that pair is still moving. Obviously the area that I'm going to be watching now is this 4-hour key level over here. I don't generally want to put in anything bearish, but I'm going to look for reactions over here, so I can mark out further key levels on the 15-minute at the moment. And if I look to the left, I can surmise over here that this is a potential level that I do need to be looking at. Possible entry level for me. on here. But again, remember I am bullish on this pair at the moment, so very important that when you establish what your bias is for a particular day, not to try and trade against that bias, because that is a recipe for losing money, and I am definitely not in this game to be losing money. So what am I looking for? What do I want to see in order to get into a trade here? Even though this is a level over here, it's not enough confluence for me to get into the market. The way I usually trade is off Asia highs or lows, or within the range from an Asian low to high or high to low, depending on which point it's coming down from. So what I would potentially want to see, and I'll set an alert here on my charts, is just that if the market does retest this key level over here, I want to actually see what the market's going to do. So will we have a reaction and see the market come down, retest this level, break through it, and then come back up, retest and continue higher? Or can we see the inverse of that? Can we see the market come down, test, go a little bit up, and then ultimately come back down, break below, retest it, and then continue back to that Asia low point over there? Any of these are possibilities, but again, we're not trying to predict the market. We're only going to trade what we see, and based on our analysis we will then make a call in terms of what we trade. So I've got a trade alert set there. I get the alert to my phone as well as to my charts on my PC. So whenever I do get the alert, I'll then just take a look at the charts again and see what's happening on there specifically. Okay, here we go to the pair that's been particularly good to me in the last week. We're looking at GU over here. So in the continuity of not deleting levels unnecessarily, I'm just going to delete the old drawings and things on my chart and then try to keep the levels. One thing I didn't do on my Euro USD chart was create my shaded area for my Asian range area. So obviously, because it is quite late in the session as well, the New York session as well, I'm not too stressed about marking out this area. But if I am going to be looking at any trades during this time, then I want to be aware whether I'm falling into this Asian range or not. The shading just gives my eyes a bit of or just makes me feel that I need to concentrate when the market does get to that level and not just be distracted by the amount of lines that I do have in my chart. So that's why I mark out those levels particularly, so I can then be clear on what I am doing. It's very, very easy for you to mark out certain things and then not take note of certain areas because of levels and things that you have marked out on your charts as well. So this pair, let me do the same process over here. Going on to the weekly level, you can see this chart at the moment is looking very colorful. There is going to be certain levels that I'm not necessarily going to look at, or that I'll take off the chart for now, just depending on where we are in the market. So obviously when I was marking our charts last week, I marked out this key level on the weekly as well. It is still valid because the market has very recently bounced off that level. Another key level that I marked out was this level over here, where the market did react quite a few times as a level of resistance, but also as a level of support in certain instances. We had this push to the upside, and then we had this reaction when the market turned to the downside as well. So in terms of a weekly bias for last week, you can see that I was still quite bearish on the pair, given that the previous week's candle, closed quite bullish, or closed quite indecisive over here. Prior to that, it was very bearish, and then last week we had this massive bull run, this candle engulfing the candle right next to it. Take note though, with this bullish candle specifically, we didn't take out the low of this previous candle, so there is I won't look at this as an actual swing really, because even though the high was taken out, the low was not taken out of that candle. It's just the way I've been taught. So although it is a swing area, I will basically conclude that this is a strong support level over there. So again, on the weekly, I'm going to be, for now, for today Monday, fairly neutral on this, because there was only one bullish candle on here. We still have this high that is valid over here, so I would want to see this break before I then say that I am biased to any particular direction on this pair. When we look at the daily trend over here, we'll obviously see that we had a lot of bullish momentum towards the upside, and then we had a few 4-hour key levels marked off on this chart. You'll notice that fairly recently the market reacted off this 4-hour key level over here, and then another weekly level that I marked out is that I went back quite a bit to also see where there were further reactions off that level. I marked out a couple of 15-minute levels there as well, but in terms of my daily bias, I am still bullish on this pair. As you can see that the market broke this previous levels over here, so there is a potential that the market could continue to the upside, or there is a potential that with the market rejecting at this 4-hour key level over here, that the market could then continue bearish as well. So in a long-term sense, or not long-term sense, but short-term, I am bullish. However, just keep in mind that this candle over here shows indecision in the market, that neither buyers or sellers are really that interested at this price level. So we'll have to wait and see what the market does at that level. With the 4-hour, looking for any specific key levels. The one that I marked out previously are still valid. So key levels that were previously marked out is still valid. Any 15-minute levels down here, I feel that for the time being is not necessarily relevant, so I'll take them out for now. If I were to keep one 15-hour key level, it would probably be this one over here, because this market on GU can definitely move 60 pips in this direction, but again, that can be quite a bit of pips for this particular pair to move as well. This is a pair that does move, but just I wanna mark levels that make sense to me as well. Let's check that. Okay, monitor this stream and see how things are going here. Alright, so I'm happy with the levels that have been previously marked out. I don't think that I need to add any additional levels in terms of the 4-hour. 15-minute, let me have a look here. Is there any new levels that are closer to where the market is currently trading? You'll actually see that this gap was created on Friday, between close on Friday and then opening on Monday morning. Even though the market then went down, it went to then fill up this gap in the market that was created. You'll generally find between market close on a Friday night and market open on a Monday morning, there will generally be that gap that is formed. If there is any news that is affecting the pair, it will cause that gap, but the market will ultimately go and fill that. Sometimes what you will see is a large wick, oops, I'm just looking for the correct tool here. In some instances a large wick might form and then the market will go and fill in that wick as well. On the 15 minute, quite a bit of consolidation over the last 2 hours. So I'm not really looking to get into that. We are sitting at the bottom of a key level at the moment. Our market tested it, blasted through, consolidated for a bit, and then came back down. Market then came very close to retesting there. Again, that is a potential high probability trade over there, but I don't make any decisions up until I know what my Asia high and low is showing. And well, what do you know? Something similar to what you saw on Euro USD. So let me just mark out my Asia high over there, Asia low over here. Now let's look at what the market did. Market traded at, I believe that it was probably this candle, 4:30, same time as Euro USD. Set the low, and also at, just see what the high of that was. So between 12 and 1, or sorry, at 1 set the high for the Asian range, and the way I mark out my Asian range. Market then this morning after London came and retested that Asia low and then pierced through it. Sometimes an indication for breakout traders to take that as an indication that there's possible sells on the go, and in this case it wasn't, was a fake out over here. Market came down, grabbed some liquidity at the bottom here, and then continued to break back into the Asian range with a continuation to the upside. Now, was there any entry on this pair for me specifically? Because I enter on the 15-minute time frame, you will see there was no real momentum after this big candle. You got the very next candle was a bearish candle, so there was still a little bit of consolidation or indecision with this one. How I would have potentially looked at taking this trade was at the break of this candle over here. Wouldn't have been seen as such a high probability trade for me, but if I was desperate for trades, I would then because we broke back into the Asian range and the Asia high was untested, I would have potentially looked at taking a trade at the break of this bearish candle. So I would have set a pending order over there, set my stop. Usually if I can't get under a swing point low with 20 pips, I will usually set it at 30. So I would have set this pair at 30 pips, and because this being a trade that for me necessarily is sitting very close to a 4-hour level, I would have probably went for a 1-to-1 just to be safe. I would have been monitoring the market and making sure, but ideally again I like going for double the amount of pips of any trade that I do get into. And as you can see, if you were in that trade, you would have then gotten your 60 pips on that pair. This isn't always the case. There is always the potential for the market to go 20 pips in your direction and then continue towards the downside. What I am seeing for potential moves at the moment is the market consolidated in this area as well, and broke back into the Asian range now. So it is an interesting one because this level was previously seen as support, and now it's broken through it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at this level. You sort of had this mini pullback over here, but no real drive of momentum to the downside. So not a market that I'm particularly looking at actively getting involved in. I want to see a close on this 15-minute candle, see if the market is then going to potentially go and either retest this area and break above, or retest and then have that impulse move back towards the downside. But like I said, my bias is bullish, so I'm not going to look for any sells on this P at the moment. For my chart commentary on this, I don't really have anything to comment on, because I'm not specifically looking for anything at this moment on this pair. And this is a pair that I will potentially look at trading possibly a little bit either later this evening or tomorrow morning during London session. Okay, we're in the same process for GJ. Is the 27th today. What do I want to see? Just clean up this chart commentary. My chart commentary basically just helps me with my thought process around why I would be looking at getting in at a particular area. So it helps me be on top of that, so that when I do step away from the charts for a prolonged period, that when I get back I sort of understand the concept and the mindset behind why I was going to get into a certain trade. Let's look at what this pair is doing. This pair, I really like this pair. It's quite volatile, the amount of pips that of movement that you get in one session, whether it is London or whether it is the New York session, is quite a lot. So I really like trading this pair, because my targets are anything on this pair. My targets are anything from 60 pips up to 100 pips. I think last week on this pair in particular, I took, I believe it was 88 pips on this pair. So that is something that I really enjoy about this pair, just the fact that it is quite volatile as well. Okay, so looking at my previous levels, what am I looking at on the weekly? Weekly, where are we sitting? We're sort of sitting from a higher time frame perspective. This is consolidation over here. So the market's basically just whipsawing back and forth. Not any clear direction in terms of where it wants to go. From a zoomed out perspective, you had this massive impulse to the downside, and then the market just sort of started to consolidate within this area. This happened in July of last year, and then even though with this consolidation there were still many trades to be taken within this area as well. If I'm looking for a bias on the weekly, once again I'm still fairly neutral. I can trade this market to the upside or the downside, just depending on where the market is sitting at that particular point in time. On the daily, if we look over the last couple of days, the market has been giving us some nice bullish momentum. You'll see that this previous level over here was broken through. It tested it for a bit, but then the market ultimately broke through it, and now it is back below that level as well. So again, fairly neutral. The market is not wanting to give any particular direction of what it wants to do. So the levels that I've previously marked out, definitely still valid. If I were to add, I could probably put this in as a level as well, but that is still quite a distance away from where the market is currently trading as well. I want to delete that because that is last week's Asia range over there. Take that out. I've got some yellow lines that I was using for trade management. On the 4 hour, what am I seeing? The key levels that I marked out on the 4 hour and the 15 minute are still holding. Still valid, so don't need to spend too much time for me personally on that. The levels are already marked out. There you'll see it clear as well. That previous 15 and 4 hour market is clearly reacting off of that level, even off that 15-minute level there as well. Good time for me to then get into my Asia, or mark out my Asia range over here. As you can see here, the Asia range is sitting all the way on the top here. And the one thing that I really like seeing is when the Asia range high and low has been taken out within either the London or the New York sessions. It just shows me that there is consistent opportunities and multiple opportunities to find entries for the market as well. So very encouraging sight for the beginning of 2025. Market set the high at 1 a.m, same as what the others was, and then it set the low at 4 a.m. The high was then swept at 8 a.m. London, so during London session. There wasn't really any way to get in to trade this range over here, so that would have not been a possible move to get into. And then on this, from this point of view, the market then just continued towards the downside, took out the Asian low at around 10.15. So during the London session as well, there was potential opportunities for you to enter possibly off this 4-hour key level over here. And so again, I would have probably taken the trade at the break of this point over here, and then played it quite safe with this trade as well, because my entry criteria would have been, yes, good to go, but not with as much confluence on it. Let's just see how many pips that the market moved from that point towards the downside. So that was 174 pips. Some people, just to catch 20 pips or 30 pips will be enough for them for the day. So again, particularly on this pair, it's one that I am going to be watching quite closely just to see what the reactions is over here. On this 15-minute, you can see that we are obviously bearish, because this low was created over here, and that was taken out over there. So we are back to testing this 15-minute key level over here, but also we've got this 4-hour and 15-minute over there. So if you look at the range of this area, what are we looking at? 18 pips, 21 pips, not enough for me on this pair specifically, because I know that this is a pair that moves quite a bit. So let me just look at what I haven't looked at is any previous daily low points, and then also any pivot points in relation to where the market is pivoting. So there is a daily, just look at this, there is a daily pivot sitting in the middle of the Asian range. Yeah, the potential that the market will go up all the way to that pivot is, probability isn't quite high given the time of the market, but there is a probability that the market can either go towards this 4-hour and continue all the way to the Asian range low over there, and then possibly then looking for a reaction there. I don't think that there will be much momentum for now, maybe during the Asian session, but I'm just setting myself an alert to see what the market is going to do there. Whether I'm awake or not at the time that it does happen is another story. And then US 30, as mentioned at the beginning of the stream, that's a pair that sort of played out to my analysis. So that was nice to see. It's not a trade, a pair that I trade that frequently, but it is a trade that I do look at because of the volatility as well, and try and make some calls on this pair. Weekly, what are we seeing? What are we seeing with this pair? So it's definitely still bullish. We basically tested this swing point over here. So for me on the weekly, I can mark that out as a potential level over there. This is a weekly key level for me. I want to look left of the chart to see. It basically looks like we are sitting at all-time highs on this indice at the moment, so there is basically no data to work with to the left. So this can be a very tricky market to get into because we're in unknown territory over here. What we can potentially see, and I think we saw it the last time Trump was in office, is that the market did continue to rally quite a bit on the indice instruments as well. So what I can potentially do is say that this is a weekly key level over there, because November last year, December last year was where the high of that was set. The market then retraced a little bit and now is headed back towards that high level over there. So I'm gonna say the way the market is moving, I'm probably more bullish on this instrument than what I am bearish. Although on the daily this does look like a consolidation. Okay, maybe not, because there is a lot of points there. There is a lot of points within those two weekly ranges over there. On the daily, quite a lot happening, but again the market going from one end to the other end. But there is a lot of potential to catch some good trades on this pair as well. I'm not going to mark any specific daily levels there because I'll do that more on the 4 hour for now. Over here you can see that the market is reacting off of this 4 hour level over here. You can see over on this end here the market reacted off that 4 hour key level there as well. And then if we look further down, there's obviously reactions there as well. Let's mark it for now. If the chart does become too messy, you can just take it off. Going down to my 15-minute. See what's happening here. That is a lot of movement. That is an extreme amount of movement on this pair. We just look at, so even on the 15-minute you can see that there is quite a bit of reactions off of this level over there. I'm just going to mark it just so I keep it top of mind that there is 4 hour and 15-minute confluence for me there to look for potential entries there as well. Let me check my Asia and Asia high and low. That's our Asia high. Come on. Asia low over there. We are sitting at a EQ level over here, so equilibrium level of particular range, and then we've got a daily pivot which we've initially reacted off and now pushing through over there. So it's going to be interesting to see. I want to see what the reaction is off of this 4-hour level, and if there is any potentials for moves towards the downside. Ideally what I would want to see, and this is just for me personally, I would want to see the market come and test this level over here, this Asia high, and see what reaction we have off of this Asia high over here. Obviously this is a, if I look here, is a 15-minute level as well. So if we can get some sort of reaction there, we could look for a potential move to the upside. Say 1,000 there. My tool, my position tool seems broken. It's giving me these ridiculous, with US 30 specifically, I usually do a 6,000 point stop, and then I'll do a 12,000 target, so 120 pips there. But I want to see what reaction. So you can see that market is driving towards that key level. It's now, let's just see, it's almost taken out the high of Friday last week, so that is interesting. I want to see the type of reaction, but I would want to see the market pull back all the way to there for a continuation, then back to take out the highs that we had last year. But that's what I'm looking for. There's not, what am I seeing here? I didn't, I set an alert. I'm not sure if I set the alert on, the alert was set on the yen. This is interesting because we're on a 4-hour level over here, and we're hitting the Asian high. And I'm bullish on this one. I want to see what this candle closes like. If we close back into the Asian range, it is a no trade for me. Oh, we just closed. But look at that wick over there. That is a potential danger sign for me there, that wick that you just saw over there. So what do I want to potentially look for over here? Let me take out my measuring tool. How much is this gonna be? into the Asian range over there, 20 pip. Okay, so 20 pips is below that point over there. And then yeah, does it make sense to go for 40? Meh. In terms of market structure, doesn't really make sense to go for a 1 to 2, maybe a 1 to 1. If I'm looking for a break of this candle over here. Let's see. I'm chilling at the moment. I'm chilled. Not in a rush to get into anything in particular. So I'm gonna look for some reaction over here. I'm speaking about putting in potential trades. I don't even have my broker portal open yet, so let me just open that. Let me close my door. Whoops. NCS is going crazy again. Alright, broker portal is open. That was probably painful for your ears there, sorry. Euro USD. So you might be asking the question, Brett, why are you looking for a buy when the market is so clearly evidently in a down trend over here? Does this look like an arrow? Ooh, let me stop with the drawing here. This is getting shady very quickly. So again, it's just the way I trade. Sometimes the market will seem to be going in one direction on a lower time frame, but on a higher time frame you might find that it is just a pullback as well. So it's the reason I look at those types of trades. So potentially for somebody that's trading more of a scalping type of method, it might seem counterintuitive to them that I'm taking trades that look like that, but it's what works for me. It's what has got me funded before, and I think what will get me funded in the future as well. So very important to, yes, learn from good mentors and learn from people who know how to teach, but also to understand that regardless of the rules and things that you get taught, or the way of trading you get taught, you still need to develop your own edge within your trading. And I think a lot of traders struggle to develop their own edge. They try and emulate what they taught and do it to the letter of what their mentors have done. I don't think that is sustainable. So important, very important to find your edge in order for you to succeed in this industry. Sorry, my English is finished. My English is finished for the day. So for those who might not know, I am trading a 60,000 Rand funded challenge. I'm on phase 1 at the moment. When I took the challenge. I didn't necessarily spend too much time trying to pass it initially. I think I've got it for about just over a week and a bit now. I only really seriously started trading it last week, really. So the week of the 20th. And my objective is that by a realistic target for me to pass it, I would say probably by the end of next week. So by the end of the first week of Feb is when I am potentially looking to pass and go become funded on that account. That is the plan. That is ultimately the plan. The streaming thing is really difficult. I do live streaming for an big organization that has a big setup. Like the equipment that we use to do all of the streaming and stuff is probably valued at over R1 million. And it is scary that if you've got the money to be able to get the equipment to afford a type of setup that will just make your streaming seamless, that it can be very simple to do. You don't actually take into account the amount of effort that goes into setting up a stream for somebody with a small setup, when you are so used to doing it on a scale where there's thousands of rands of equipment that was purchased and set up for you to be able to do the streaming. And then when you try to do it on your own, you think, I know what to do, and then you realize that the limited equipment that you have to do the streaming with makes it a little bit more challenging. I won't say difficult, because challenging is probably a more appropriate word to use. So that is the one thing that I'm learning with streaming on my personal channel as well. But not anything that I can't handle. I'm a tech guy, so I like a challenge, and I like figuring out things in terms of how I'm going to make things work, and then also how to streamline certain processes and things. So the organization that I volunteer at, that is one of my main responsibilities, is being on top of the technology that is being deployed. They've obviously got staff to do that, but because it's a multi streaming site, we tend to, as people volunteering there, need to know quite a bit about certain things, because the fully employed people are busy basically researching newer technology. So a lot of the technology we use for the streaming platforms there are internationally sort of accredited, internationally used stuff. Very, very expensive. I think for a device that looks a little bit like a decoder, we've just recently installed in the last week, it costs quite a bit, close to 100,000 rand for that device, and that was just for one function in the streaming process, or to fulfill one function within the streaming process. So very interesting. I definitely do love the tech industry. I'm always researching new things and trying to make things work a little bit better, work a little bit more streamlined when it comes to trading, to streaming. My hope is that eventually I get to the point where a lot of what I am doing can be automated, and I can just, when I feel that I want to stream, I can just hop in front of the camera, put it on, open the software or switch on the hardware, and literally the stream does everything that it needs to do. One thing that's great though that I have learned is being prepared in terms of information that is duplicated on a weekly basis. Having that sort of done prior to you streaming, so you can sort of automate that process in terms of thumbnails, in terms of descriptions, and all of that. All of that, if done correctly, it can be a very, very quick process to then get your stream set up. So that's the big thing I'm working on, is working with automation and getting those things sorted out now while the channel is still small, and then obviously as the channel does grow, that you start to be able to fund certain things on the channel as well. So interesting times ahead. I'm fairly excited. Using a free software at the moment to stream, and figuring that out in terms of layout, what layout works best. And if you want to comment on the layout, please feel free to do so. Tell me if you like it. Some of my intermission screens, like the stream starting and stream ending, and even like a AFK type of intermission screen, is things that I am working on at the moment. So any feedback is appreciated. One thing I do like about the software that I am using to stream at the moment is that you can sort of do certain things live as well. So for example, if you look at current trades, and all of a sudden now the software is doing something wonky. But if you look at current trades at the moment, it says none, right? Because I'm not in any active trades. But I could potentially say that once I get into the Euro USD trade, I could say that I'm in a Euro USD trade, and that trade at the moment is equaling a to be confirmed pip amount. I don't put rand value amounts or dollar value amounts within my trades, because that is not really relevant. What's relevant is your pip ratio. So I will normally put a pip ratio in there, but basically I can then click this button, and what you see will then be updated. So you can see current trades now no longer says none. It says Euro USD to be confirmed, and then once I have a pip ratio in there, I can just update that accordingly. But it's actually quite cool that you can do that live on stream. It's really great. And the fact that the software allows you to operate in a very broadcast type of way, so having a preview of what you would have on your screen prior to actually posting it is great. Excuse me, I operate in a live broadcast scenario, so that things are happening live all the time, and you have to preview everything before it actually goes out to live TV and live online streaming. So that is a very, very interesting thing, that you have a software that you can download for free that actually does a preview, or a studio sort of preview, before you actually send things live on your stream. Makes for a very professional setup. I must say that it's very interesting trading at this time. I know a lot of traders that trade the afternoon session of New York, and that also trade MOC, because I know with MOC, so that last hour of trading can also be quite volatile, and I know so a lot of people trade the Nasdaq indice, or if they're trading futures, they trade in Q or MNQ for the micros and minis, and then if they're trading Dow Jones or US 30, I don't know what the symbol for that is. Is it YM, or I don't know what the future symbol for that is, but that is stuff that some of the futures traders trade for the late session or the afternoon session of New York. So that is quite interesting as well. I still haven't sorted out a proper playlist for the stream. I'm hoping that this week sometime I can do it. My Mondays are extremely busy because I'm out office, but ultimately the rest of the week I can sort of schedule things because I've got more time in office to prep with certain stuff. I'm looking on my actual broker panel now, and I'm seeing a little bit of an impulsive move on Euro USD in the 15 minutes. So I'm just looking at what the entry price is there and what the market's actually going to do at that level. Look, I might look at setting a pending order, and this might be a very crap trade to take, but you know, what the heck. I didn't take any trades for today. I'm minimizing my risk as well, so my usual lot size that I'll trade with, I've reduced that quite substantially to just mitigate for the risk of it being afternoon session. Just updating. I've got a pending order in for that at the moment with that information that you see on the screen at the moment. So not anything out of this world here. 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit. If this will be the only trade I take for the session, then so be it. But I've never traded this time on stream or live before, so it's going to be interesting. What I'll normally do is I'll have a pending order set. I'll find out that I get triggered in from my alerts that I set up, and then I would usually check it maybe every hour on the hour to see what the market is particularly doing. But I've never actively sat on the charts. I think anything after 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. I've never actively actually sat on the chart, so it's going to be an interesting session. Going to be a very interesting session. What I am normally doing at this time is watching some other traders as well. I am watching some other traders, especially those trading in the futures markets. Let me see if someone... the one trader that I usually watch, I know he's in Japan at the moment, so I think he mentioned that he won't be streaming this week. He said he'll drop 2 videos this week. I'm looking for another futures trader that I usually watch live to see if he is live. He is not live. It says the last time that he streamed was 10 months ago, which is very interesting.
I've made a lot of huge strides in my
2 months ago. Interesting. trading is a difficult thing. It's very very psychological. So it's sometimes something that yes is done to fund certain projects, but it's also something that can be quite taxing to do, because it takes quite a bit of mental capacity when the market is moving in a very volatile way. It's takes a mental toll. My trading view chart is not updated. Yeah, so I don't know if it's a glitch at the moment or what's happening, but I know that it usually does happen. On my actual trading terminal, I can see that the market is moving there, so I'm not too stressed. And then I see my camera battery is also low, so I'm gonna have to replace batteries and charge that one at the moment. Did I not have an alert set on one of these pairs? Oh, there's an alert there.
I'm making like a whole.
Okay, NC is going to town again on the what do you call this? Electronic music, yeah. It's a very boring session to trade, this late afternoon session. Okay, the market is moving again. Not a lot of momentum on this EU Euro USD pair. One thing I didn't check is news, so let me go on Forex Factory, where I usually check for any red folder news for any particular week. That is clear. So this week, what are we looking at? Tomorrow, Tuesday, we've got consumer confidence coming out at 5 p.m. That's South African time for me. So December consumer confidence, in terms of what people were willing to spend, or what they could afford to spend, came out lower than what was forecast. So that that does have a negative impact on the dollar. So that is the only red folder news for Tuesday. Wednesday we've got some Bank of England news. It looks like the governor is speaking there, so that will have an impact as well. He's testifying on the financial stability report before their committee. We then also have federal funds rate. We have FOMC. So very news heavy week this week. Thursday we've got unemployment claims, which is also a popular one as well. On Friday we've got core PCE and employment costs. I don't actually know what PCE is. So it's a change in price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. So this is obviously they're not the same thing as CPI. That's interesting. So it's good to have an idea of what fundamental news is coming out. You can even see on Monday, next week is PMI. I don't think that I will be able to trade this because I usually only get home after 5 on a Monday. But it will be interesting to see what the markets then does on Monday with that data set to be released. Indices, yeah. I suppose what's more interesting for stream type content this late in the session is more of sort of a scalping type of model. But there again, you probably want to be doing it on an indice rather than a currency pair. I do find that you do get quite a bit of movement on the GJ pair, but the other currencies, I suppose it's fairly slow to be moving around. I'm just actually waiting for this battery to die on my webcam so I can replace it. Let's watch a little bit of this indice. So as you noted, I said on stream that what is an ideal scenario for me to see the market come down to this level over here and then look for potential buys to the upside. Something interesting I've been researching over the last while has been a different trading style when it comes to scalping and looking for I forget what it's called. You think volume profile. So there's a few traders that trade the volume profile method. They use pricing ladders, and they obviously use volume, the volume profile to establish where the value areas are. So value area highs, value area lows, and then point of control where the market can either buy or sell from. So very interesting way of trading, especially from a scalping perspective. You can, on the future side of things, be quite aggressive with futures. You can only trade I think it's, what is it, one contract, one full contract. So not like with CFDs that I trade. You can put in a 0.01 or 0.010 on certain instruments. With futures, it's based on contracts, so you can't start a 0 point something contract. It has to be one contract if you're trading the mini, so Nasdaq mini. And then for the micros, you'll trade one micro contract. Interesting. Let's go back to this guy. I think that I saw that there was some bearish movement here. I'm just quite curious about this level over here. To see what's gonna happen when the market retests there. Is it gonna break back into the Asian range, or are we gonna see an impulsive move to the upside? Very late in the session, anything can happen, or absolutely nothing can happen. So just something to watch at the moment. Nothing exciting happening here. Move along, nothing exciting happening. Consolidation happening here at this Asian high here at the moment. Just see on the 4 hour. Is there any key level over here? Potentially, yes. You can potentially say that is a 4 hour key level over there. But what's happening? Market is potentially breaking back into the Asian range. What do I potentially want to see? Impulsive bullish move, or a bullish candle to the upside. Generally, if this was very early in the New York session or in the London session, I would have potentially looked to get in on this candle with a 20 pip stop loss and a 40 pip TP. And you can see if I wasn't that trade, I would have been in consolidation over there for a prolonged period of time. But again, I'm used to this, because I know as soon as we break out of this consolidation, we're either gonna run to my take profit, or we'll be quite decisive in taking my stop out. So that is what I like about the type of trades that I do take as well, what I quite enjoy. My stream health, if I look on the analytics here, is not doing well. It's like we recommend current bit rate of whatever it is lower than the recommended bit rate, and then it just says try to increase your kilobytes per second. But I know that possibly doesn't have any direct impact on the way the stream is performing. So not too concerned about that. I also need to wrap up the stream very soon. I think I'll stream for, let me think, because kids need to go to bed now as well. So I will stream for another 10 minutes or so, or let's say for the next 15-minute candle, which, yeah, when at the close of the next 15 minutes I'll end the stream, and then I will be live for London tomorrow morning. I'll start the stream about 10 minutes or so prior to London Open. Go through my analysis that I did now this afternoon, this evening. Just make sure that I'm still on point, given where the market would have went during the night, and during Sydney and Asian session. And then I'll be able to plot my trades for either London or plot any potential trades for New York session. What I do find quite commonly is that I will find trades just after London lunch, I would say, and those trades will then run into New York as well. So let's see if that is the case this week as well, and hopefully I can get some good trades this week. Let me just put some commentary in here. I'm gonna say no actual trade taken, just seeing if this trade idea plays out. It's happening on my favorite pair over here. Yeah, this is sort of in a no-go zone for me here. So I'm pretty chilled on this pair, not wanting to do anything specific on there at the moment. This drawing over here, again, just another indication to see if my thought process and what I'm thinking in terms of what the market's going to do, if it then does potentially play out. Not indices, not necessarily something that I want to keep open overnight, because that change over in hours, the spreads can stop you out of a trade, or slip you out of a trade as well. So let's say I was late. Let's say I entered here. I was late. Hypotheticals. But that would have been my entry area, right at that 4 hour and Asian high area. Still have my pending order in here. Looking for a nice reaction to the upside, but again the risk here is that we could react off the 15-minute level over here and then just continue to the downside. But like I said, I've reduced my risk on this pending order. As far as I'm aware, I haven't been triggered in. Just looking at my stop loss. interesting. What I will look at doing is at either 9 or 10 p.m. depending on where the market is. If the pending order hasn't been triggered in yet, I will manually cancel the order. Or essentially, if before 10 as well, before 9:10, if we have gone back into this Asian range, I will also, even before then, if we've gone back into this range, I'll also kill the pending order. Right. What is the mark doing here? Okay, so 2 minutes up until the close of this next 15-minute candle, actually less than 90 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see what the next candle does. It will be a good indicator, possible good indicator of what the market wants to do. Whether it just stays in this consolidation zone for the next hour or more. $30 to close of this current candle being printed. And again, if you know anyone interested in this type of content, anyone interested in the financial markets, please share this channel with them. I would appreciate the follow, the subscription. Okay, so that candle that's closed now, it's another indecision candle. Looks like we'll probably be in this consolidation for a while. What I might end up doing is deleting the pending order in any case, and then setting an alert at that very same level. And I know that if the alert doesn't come through, that the market wasn't intending to go there during the latter part of the session anyway. If the alert does go off, possibly then have a look and see what the market is wanting to do. Again, maybe the better trade is for this later sessions, or the pair to be looking at is an indice. Rather than currency pair. But again, no real volume. It's Monday, it's early in the week as well. And that was just my camera that said, hey, goodbye. Please change me. Let me change it. I don't want that frozen image there. Replacement incoming. Oh, come on. Back. I don't have a dummy battery that plugs into a wall socket for this camera, so I sort of just work between swapping out batteries when the one dies, swap it out for the one that's fully charged. Not ideal. Alright, 3 more minutes and then I'll close off the stream, and I will check all of you. I'm referring to myself in the stream in London session tomorrow. I'm quite excited to see what will happen in London tomorrow. I actually didn't suffer from any FOMO today of not being in the market, so that is good. I had a good week last week. So I'm excited for the potential of this week and what it has in store. But just one important reminder: stick to my rules. Make sure that I'm not taking any unnecessary risk with trades, and then seeing where that takes me. Hopefully to passing my funded challenge and getting to a funded stage. That is the ideal scenario. Alright, that is me for the stream this evening. Took a try to see what streaming in the late afternoon of New York would entail, but not much happening. It's Monday. I'm not sure if this is the case every day. I know that there was quite a bit of volume in the market on Friday last week. The Nasdaq, well, not the Nasdaq, if I recall. This was today, but Friday as well. I think it was on the one. Yeah, so late on Friday there was this massive sell-off over here, so quite a lot there, market gapped. So keep in mind now that this gap over here, the market will have to come in and sort out that little poo there. The market will have to go and sort its poo out. So yeah, this is then a no trade for me. No pending orders in place, nothing. That is also just testing to see what the market's going to do there. Pound, not really looking to get involved at this level. So let's see what tomorrow holds, and I will check you all in London session. Keep safe, and I'll check you in the next stream. Peace, everyone.